What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates, and of course this week we've had the launch of the Dawning. So Bungie have got a couple of quick updates on that front, but also they talk about missing rewards, some things that they're planning to fix in the near future, and some additions for the patch notes this week. So we'll cover all of those. Plus we'll talk about the upcoming exotic quest that's going to be launching in a week from now, as we get some new hints for the mission itself. And on top of that, we have a couple of other things to mention in today's video. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, then feel free to get subscribed for more Destiny content, but without further delay, let's get into it. And first up today, we have plenty of updates from Bungie, and firstly, it's worth mentioning that they've said the Fireteam Finder beta period has been extended and will remain online for the foreseeable future. We'll continue to monitor performance as the test continues. And they point out as well the top 3 activities that they're seeing groups formed for via the Fireteam Finder, and that includes dungeons at 44%, raids at 26%, and Crucible at 22%. And obviously the raid versus dungeon ratio right there makes sense given that we've had a new dungeon this season. But the huge positive, once again, is that Fireteam Finder appears to have been a pretty significant success. I was concerned that it was actually going to be kind of a mess when Bungie announced that they'd be launching it in beta form, as obviously they had anticipated some potential technical issues, but for the moment, even though Bungie hadn't outlined that Fireteam Finder would be fully available at this point, the function remains in the game and is available for pretty much all of the modes that it's supposed to be there for. So definitely a useful tool for a lot of players. Give us your experiences with Fireteam Finder down below, and this at least can be one of Bungie's big wins for the season. Another quick mention in relation to Fireteam Finder though, Bungie did post a trailer for it. There isn't anything groundbreaking in the trailer, mainly it's showing off activities that are already in the game, but it's another indication right there that Bungie are essentially ready for Fireteam Finder to go live officially, so it's certainly one of the better significant quality of life updates that we've had for Destiny 2. But onto other news this week. Bungie Help tweeted, "We're aware that the Dawning's event card timer currently displays an incorrect date, and players will have until the weekly reset on January 2nd, 2024 to earn and claim their rewards from the event card." They're saying this because as the Dawning went live, the event timer said that it had 70 odd days remaining, which obviously isn't true, although I suppose it wouldn't really make that much difference given that we're in an extended season. But keep in mind it will end on January the 2nd. And then in relation to some of the updates we had in the patch this week, Bungie Help said that they've resolved the issue causing triumphs for the Warlord's Ruin dungeon to drop incorrect rewards. But players who've already completed these triumphs will be granted the appropriate rewards at a later date. I had a few questions about this, as the update didn't automatically fix the retroactive rewards. So kind of frustrating for folks who'd already done that stuff, but importantly at least, Bungie have recognized it and have assured players that the appropriate rewards will drop at a later date. In other updates though, the Destiny 2 team have said that based on player feedback, we're enabling Control as a selectable activity while Checkmate Control is active. And Control will be selectable similar to how Nightfall difficulty tiers are selected, and that change has gone out in the patch yesterday. But they go on to say Checkmate Control will remain at the forefront as the primary 6v6 unranked activity while we continue to gather data and feedback on the modifier, but in the meantime they want to allow players to opt out of the experience as desired. And so I think it's good that Bungie are giving players the opportunity to kind of split out of Checkmate Control and go for normal control. Obviously, as they change various modifiers and sandbox elements of that mode, there'll certainly be iterations that some players don't particularly appreciate, so it's good to be able to play normal control. Although given the player numbers for the game at the moment, it will be interesting to see what kind of effect that potentially has on population by splitting players even more, but we'll assume that it's a positive for now and we'll see how it goes. I'm sure we can anticipate plenty of tweaking and tuning for these modes though in the coming week. Another quick shout related to the update this week though, Bungie have reduced the focusing cost for ritual vendors, and that includes Crucible Gambit and Vanguard Ops legacy focusing costing 3 engrams, and the exception being an obtained legacy Nightfall weapon still costing 5 engrams. But older legacy Nightfall weapon focusing will cost 3 engrams as well, so worth keeping in mind if you're planning on doing any focusing that those costs have been adjusted this week. Up next though, for a brief mention of the weekly story, we get another meeting between Marasov and the Crow, so in case you wanted to recap on any of that dialogue, here it is.
I heard you over the comm channels. I am sorry that we are forced to entreat with Riven. She and I have our own histories to navigate, but what she did to you, how she wormed her way into your mind, that was inexcusable. It pains me to put you through this.
Even after all that's happened, you still think I need to be protected?
No, that is not.
It's all right, Mara. I understand. We've always shared a connection. Even when you were lost in the Ascendant Plane, I could still feel your presence. Your heartbeat. I knew you weren't truly gone. Riven was only able to manipulate me because of how strong our connection was. I've made choices I'm not proud of. But I'll never apologize for the reason I made them. It's the same reason you reach out even now when you see me struggling. You're my sister. Nothing can break that bond. Not death, not Riven, not even the light.
Like Ager and Rhaegar, finding each other in the storm.
Yeah, well, all that we've been through, that's no fable. We stood together as the world collapsed around us.
And we'll stand together again.
In other updates, something else that Bungie have spoken about in relation to the new text chat filters. And someone had posted the new word filters in chat might be working great for English language users, but for regional PH it's a terrible experience. And the D2 team have recognised that, saying thanks for the feedback. We understand that players are chatting in their native dialects and it's important, and will continue to work on improving the filters and accommodating more players. But they point out in the initial rollout they've focused primarily on the 13 languages and dialects officially supported by Destiny 2. And there is a frequently asked question page associated with filtering, but they'll say they'll update that as they continue to develop the filters and notify players of key changes in the weekly article. So it's another area that Bungie are continuing to iterate on right there. But finally, right here, we're going to talk about the upcoming exotic mission, and this is for the Wishkeeper exotic bow. Bungie have revealed that this will launch on December 19th, which is next Tuesday, and as we've seen, we'll return to the Black Garden for that one, with the exotic mission being called Star-Crossed. But on top of that, this Strand exotic bow will be yet another craftable exotic with a bunch of different refit catalysts. And I've got a separate video breaking down all of the details about the weapon that we currently know of, but obviously that's going to be one of the key beats for the season. But with us going back to the Black Garden, naturally, there are questions about what we'll encounter there. And of course, it was pretty likely that it would be Vex, but Bungie Leaks shared some of the strings for the mission, so the spoiler alert is necessary here, if you want to avoid the sort of story details for Star-Crossed. But they say the strings include defeating the Withdrawn Mind and the Temporal Progeny before finding the heart of the Black Garden, and then we'll need to defeat the giant Vex who guard the Black Garden, as well as clearing out the last of the Vex from the mission space. And with there being a bunch of different sort of bosses and objectives, it will be interesting to see whether this is a sort of puzzly mission or perhaps something that's more sort of time focused. And it feels like that is probably more likely the case, but it's going to be cool to get another exotic mission in the game. Of course, we've had a few this year so far, and it'll be interesting to see as well if that mission space differs from Garden of Salvation and the exotic quest mission that we had in Lightfall, but I guess we will find out soon. For today though guys, that's what we have to speak about in the video, so as always I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, a rating below really does help us out on the channel, and also get subscribed if you want to see more Destiny content moving forward. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in today, and whatever you get up to, I'll catch you guys very soon.